In the early hours of May 1st, 2010, a young woman ran through a quiet gated community on Long Island, terrified and disoriented. She knocked on doors. She screamed for help. She begged strangers to call the police. Her fear was real. Her danger was immediate, and within hours, she would be gone. Shannan Gilbert was a 24-year-old woman working as an escort. She lived a transient life, moving between friends' homes and temporary apartments. But despite the instability, those close to her described her as intelligent, self-aware, and cautious. She wasn't reckless. She wasn't naive. And on the night she disappeared, she knew something was wrong. Shannan had traveled to Oak Beach, a secluded gated community near Gilgo Beach, to meet a client. Her driver that night was a man named Michael Pack. Pack had driven Shannan to other appointments before.
Stay calm. What's the address?
He was familiar. He was trusted. At least trusted enough. The client, later identified as Joseph Brewer, was a middle-aged man who lived alone. At first, the meeting appeared routine, but something shifted.
Stay calm. What's the address?
At approximately 4:51 a.m., Shannan called 911. What followed was a 23-minute call that would later become one of the most disturbing recordings in true crime history.
Hello?
On the
Please
call,
help me. What's Wapti?
Shannan sounded panicked.
Hurry, I'm so
She told the
scared.
dispatcher that someone was trying to kill her. She refused to give her location. Her thoughts were fragmented. She alternated between fear, confusion, and paranoia. At times, she sounded lucid. At other times, she didn't. The call ended without police being dispatched. Shannan fled Brewer's house on foot. She ran into the darkness, into a maze of marshland, sand, and quiet streets. She knocked on neighbors' doors. One resident heard screaming but didn't open the door. Another spoke to her briefly but didn't call police.
Please hurry, let me in.
Everyone assumed someone else would handle it. No one did. By morning, Shannan Gilbert was gone. When police finally arrived hours later, they found no sign of her. Her belongings were scattered. Her driver, Michael Pack, claimed he had searched for her. He said she was acting irrationally. He said she had refused help. Then he left. At first, authorities treated the case as an unfortunate accident. They suggested Shannan may have suffered a mental breakdown.
2 is down.
They theorized she wandered into the marsh and drowned. There was no urgency, no aggressive search, no immediate suspicion. That changed months later. In December 2010, police searching for Shannan discovered something else instead. Human remains. Then more. Then more. Along the stretch of Gilgo Beach, investigators uncovered the bodies of 4 women, all escorts, all murdered, all wrapped in burlap. They became known as the Gilgo 4. And suddenly, Shannan's disappearance was no longer isolated. The discovery cracked open one of the most infamous serial killer investigations in U.S. history. But here's what made Shannan's case
Gilbert
different.
vanished into the night,
She wasn't
leaving only
found with the
questions.
others.
We're combing
She
every
hadn't
inch.
been wrapped.
She has to be here.
Hello?
And she had made a 911 call.
Ma'am, slow
For
down.
years,
What's the address?
law
He's got these
enforcement
lost her
insisted
head.
Shannan was not a victim
She was
of the
not a
Long
victim
Island
of the Long
serial
Island
killer.
serial killer.
They claimed her death
They
was
claimed her
accidental,
death was accidental.
that she
They
drowned,
concluded she drowned.
that her panic was self-induced.
But her family never believed that.
But her family didn't believe that,
This is where we found them.
and
Gilgo
neither did
4.
many
While looking
investigators.
for Shannan?
Yes.
In
4 bodies,
2011,
right here.
Shannan's
They are trying
remains
to
were
kill me.
finally
Who
discovered.
is trying to kill you?
I don't
They
know.
were found
They're
in a
coming.
marsh less than half a
Shannan
mile
Gilbert
from where she
vanished
was
into the
last
night,
seen.
leaving only questions.
We're
No
combing every
obvious
inch. She
signs
has
of
to be here.
trauma were immediately visible. The medical examiner ruled her death an accident. Her family disputed the finding. Shannan's mother, Marie Gilbert, became relentless. She demanded answers. She accused police of negligence. She believed Shannan had been chased. She believed someone had watched her die. And then, in 2016, the case took another tragic turn. Shannan Gilbert was murdered, stabbed to death by her own daughter during a mental health crisis. The tragedy only deepened the sense that this family had been abandoned at every level. Meanwhile, questions around Shannan's final hours refused to fade. Why didn't police respond to the 911 call? Why were residents dismissed? Why was her driver allowed to leave? Why did investigators resist connecting her case to the others? Independent experts began reviewing the evidence. They pointed out inconsistencies. The length of the 911 call, Shannan's coherent statements, her fear of being killed, not of imaginary threats. Something didn't add up. Then came the most damning detail. The full 911 call was never released to the public. Only fragments, only summaries. Law enforcement claimed it would compromise the investigation. Critics argued it concealed failures. In 2023, the Long Island serial killer case finally saw a major development. Rex Heuermann was arrested and charged in connection with multiple murders. He lived just miles from where the bodies were found. He fit the behavioral profile investigators had ignored for years. But Shannan Gilbert's case remains unresolved. Authorities still officially maintain her death was accidental. But many experts disagree. They argue she may have been the first victim, or a witness, or someone who escaped, briefly. Shannan Gilbert knew she was in danger. She said it out loud. She begged for help. She ran, and she was ignored. Whether she died at the hands of a killer or because of institutional failure may never be fully proven. But one thing is certain. She didn't disappear quietly. She disappeared screaming, and no one listened. Shannan Gilbert wasn't just a footnote in a larger investigation. She was a warning, one that went unanswered.